What's up, guys? In today's video on the Wagoneer, I'm going to be going over how to rewrap the wood trim and how to get all the old adhesive off the back. And we're basically just rewrapping it with wood vinyl, and I kind of give a general update on the project. I'm sitting on the back seat right now because I just got in my new seat covers, and that'll probably be what the next video is on. So thank you for watching and hope you guys enjoy. So finally got the fog lamps working. Other than both of them having dead bulbs in them, I was not getting power to them at all. So I checked power at the switch inside, had power, seemed to be lighting up, the brights weren't on, nothing like that. It ended up being this relay right here on the wheel well. It was good, but when I unplugged it, all the terminals on it were very corroded. So I cleaned all those up and tried turning it back on, and they work now. So let me show you. So headlights on, and then switch right here. Fog lamps are on. If you turn the brights on, turns off, turns back on. And they are now lit up. So our power mirror switch was broken. This is not the stock Wagoneer power mirror switch, in case you were wondering. The one it comes with is this chrome thing over here with a little joystick that sticks out of it. Ours was not working, and we were also missing the wiring harness for some reason. I guess somebody stole it out of ours. But this right here is out of a 99 Nissan Pathfinder. So it looks like that. I got the little wiring harness with it. I was able to wire it up to the existing Wagoneer power mirror wiring. Wasn't the easiest thing to figure out, but it works and can unplug, which is great. So plug that back in, and on the left, up, down, back, forth. Awesome. And then the right side works as well. I don't know if you can see that moving, but it works. So I'm pretty stoked about that. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to, I'd really like to put the chrome somehow over this from the old switch, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So I might just paint it tan so it matches the door better, the door panel, and but I'm just happy this works. So we'll see what I do in the end. All right, so what we're working on today is the wood trim for the Wagoneer. As you can see, this is pretty wasted. Now you can buy brand new kits, but they cost you about $1,000. I've got all my pieces still. They're all in relatively good shape, so we're gonna try and save them. They also have all this old adhesive stuck to the back of them, which is a pain in the butt to get off. But I found probably the easiest way to do it. And that is with one of these multi-tools with a scraper blade. We'll get to that in a minute. You don't have to use one of these. You can use a razor blade, but it will take you all of eternity to get this stuff off. But finished product, you can kind of choose whatever vinyl you want. But this is kind of the finished product here after stripping it and rewrapping it with vinyl. So I'm going to show you how to get the majority of the stuff off with one of these scrapers, and then you use a wire wheel to get what's left off. And that is about the fastest way I've found to do it. So basically, you just take this and get it under an edge. So you can do it a little more thoroughly than that, but that's basically what you're left with right there. And you can get that off with a wire brush on a drill or on a grinder, which I'll show you all in a bit. But this works pretty well. You can certainly be more thorough and get a little bit more off, which I'll do. But the one thing to be careful of is even with this flat scraper blade that I have, it will dig into this plastic. So just try and be really careful and stay flat and go smoothly. If you ding it a little bit, it's not a big deal. You're wrapping it, and this is just the backside, so who cares? But that's how you get the majority of this stuff off. And I will go ahead and finish this piece, and then we'll move over to wire brushing the rest of it off. All right, so we've got our piece after we've used the multi-tool to scrape off what we could. Now we're gonna use this grinder here with a wire brush on one side. If you don't have one of these, you can get just a wire brush that goes on the end of a drill and do the same thing. Works pretty well. So I'm gonna set this up and show you how it works. But as you can see, that's the spot I've started to do, haven't done it there. So let me set up the camera and I'll show you how to do this. Pretty good. You don't want to do it too much because you will start to eat through the plastic. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest probably on a time lapse, so you don't have to sit here and watch me do all this. But we're not going for perfect, we're just going for pretty good. The vinyl is going to cover all this up, and when I did it, I just did a little bit of glue just to help the vinyl stick a little better. So we'll stop there for now on this one, and I've got a bunch more to do. All right, so here's kind of the finished product of getting off all that black adhesive, and that's plenty clean enough to get these rewrapped with vinyl. So the plan on the ones that used to have rivets, I will not be reusing the rivets. I will fill these holes with some sort of putty before wrapping them so they don't show up in the wrap, and just use 3M tape to stick these back on the car. Now that's how the new grips, that's how the new versions of this come. It's just all 3M tape. They don't use the rivets anymore. That $1,000 kit I was talking about. So that is a fine way of doing it. So next thing I'll show you is how to wrap them. I am by no means an expert on wrapping cars, vinyl, anything, but I have done a few of these and they turned out really good. So waiting on some more right now, which will be no time for you guys, but I will make that part of the video when my new vinyl comes in. So right here I'm just kind of positioning the piece of vinyl I cut out to the rough shape of the trim piece I'm doing, and peeling a little bit off of the backing, and I'm going to cut it and kind of tack that one spot into place. See here, I'm just cutting off part of the backing and sticking that piece down, and I will kind of work from there because that kind of holds it in place for me. So here I'm just starting to peel off the rest of the backing and tacking it down into place as I peel it off. Just want to do it slowly and try and get no air bubbles. Here I'm kind of using the little squeegee that came with it to tap it down and kind of seal it in place as best I can, especially into the groove of the trim. Right here, I'm just trying to work it into that groove some more and giving you a better angle as to what I'm doing. Right here, I'm just kind of trimming the excess vinyl off, trying to leave about 3/4 of an inch of overhang on each side to then wrap it over onto the back of the trim piece. Right here, I'm beginning to apply heat, and you just want to heat it up just enough to where you see it kind of crinkle up. Be careful not to apply too much because you will melt through the vinyl. And just kind of stretch it over and tack it down. And just continue to do that all the way down the piece of trim, applying heat and tacking it down and stretching it over the edge of the trim as you go. Take your time, don't try to do too much at one time. Try not to worry too much about any wrinkles on the backside. You can use heat to flatten them out later, and also the adhesive you use to reattach it to the car will kind of make up for any imperfections on the back of the trim. So you might get little bubbles like this. And all I'm gonna do is poke a tiny little hole in them. Oops, sorry. Add just a little bit of heat. And go back through and push them down. Okay, pop our new little bubble. Apply a little bit more heat. And it's pretty much gone. You keep doing that till you get rid of your bubble. There we go. Next up, we're going to do the end. So for the ends, I'm just going to go through and chop off the junk on the back as best I can. It's going to look like that roughly. Let me get rid of that last little piece. Okay. Now I'm going to apply heat until it starts to kind of curl over. And grab it and just stretch it around the end of the back. So you get that. And apply heat to that back part. flatten it down. Okay, now I just need to trim this part along the natural cut that's in the trim with a sharp razor. So that's pretty much your finished product for this part. Next part is a separate piece of vinyl. So you'll just run the straight piece across and use the heat gun and wrap it around the same way. A little bit simpler than the curve. That's one of the hardest pieces you'll have to do. So we're pretty close to getting this painted. Kind of gone around and found any spots that have rust, and we're putting primer over it after sanding it and doing a little bit of Bondo work here and there, just filling in some small holes. And this spot was apparently previously damaged because I found some old Bondo work. So just touching that up, trying to get rid of some small pitting, especially where there were some rust spots on the roof. It was a rust spot here that I've sanded down, and it actually looks pretty good. I need to finish primering it, but it's all smooth. Got rid of the pitting from the rust. Same with this corner. Probably needs one more coat of primer. A little spot here, it's all smoothed out. Spots on this fender. This right here had a pretty big dent in it that I filled in. You can see I need to do some more primer, but there was actually a tree growing up right through here in between the fender and the bumper, because the bumper comes out to about here, and so there was a big rust spot and a small dent that I have repaired. So other than that, we need to basically sand the whole thing down, clean it off, and get it ready for paint, which I have a guy that's going to do it for me for a pretty reasonable price, and he's letting me do a lot of the prep work, so that's why I got the taillights out, got the bumpers off, the front grille is off, as you can see, which is kind of cool looking. So we've got the antenna removed. I'm going to remove the mirrors, and pretty much anything that's easy to remove I'm going to remove, and the rest will be masked off. About to order the new leather kit and the headliner, and got some new speakers coming in for the back. Finally got the radio working, which just took a new radio. The other one I got working and turning off, but the radio wouldn't work. I could pick up one AM station. It's kind of funny, but this one works really good, looks pretty good, and was relatively inexpensive. So that's kind of the update. I also need to still do some of the interior stuff, repaint these handles and all that. So it's coming along, making progress. We'll get there eventually. So I've got the roof rack over here on the ground. Got some more vinyl to get off of it through here, and then we'll try and polish all that up and make it look better. Same with these bumpers, we've got to remove, like I said, for the paint. And while that's being done, hopefully we can polish them up and make them look really nice and get some of that dirt out of there. And this is the wind deflector for the back. Again, more vinyl to remove. And kind of got everything else piled up over here. Tail lights and markers and stuff, the side markers. So yeah, got a lot of stuff off the Wagoneer right now. She's looking pretty good from a distance, and it's gonna look a whole lot better when she's painted, so I'm excited about it. There you have it, guys. There's your update on the Wagoneer build and a tutorial on how to rewrap the trim. I hope that's helpful. It certainly saved me a lot of money, even though it's super time consuming. I'll have another video out very soon on some of the upholstery and carpet stuff on the Wagoneer, and hopefully it's all done and painted in the next couple weeks. So thanks for watching.